Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to make stuffed ham and Swiss mushroom burgers. Now my burger recipes kind of vary from time to time. They're never really the same. So we're just kind of wing this one and see how it goes. So we're going to put in a pound of 8515 ground beef. That's what we're going to start with. Now, to the meat, we're going to add a dash of Worcestershire. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. We're going to use some onion soup mix, and we're going to kind of use that as our binder instead of breadcrumbs. This should give it better flavor. We're going to use one pouch for now and see how it turns out. We're going to add one egg. And we're going to give this a little bit of vegetable juice. Now, I was going to put in tomato juice, but vegetable juice was what I found and what I had on hand. It should work the same. Should be pretty good. So we're just going to put a little bit of that in. That might be a little bit too much, but I'm thinking we're going to add another pound of ground beef to this anyway. We'll see how wet it gets. Now we're going to add in some vegetable better than bouillon, maybe about a half a tablespoon or so. Again, not a whole lot. So for now, that's all of our ingredients. I may add some more soup mix. I may add another pound of ground beef, but right now we just want to give this a good mix and see what our consistency turns out like. If it's a little bit too wet, we might add some more things to it. Like here, we're going to add in another packet of onion soup mix. And we're going to add in a little bit of salt. And a little bit of ground black pepper. Not a whole lot, just kind of to taste, really. Now, in addition to the salt and pepper, we're also going to add in some of the Meat Church Gospel barbecue rub. I'm not going to add a whole lot of this, but it is going to give it some flavor and a little bit of the red color when it's on the grill, or the smoker, I should say. Now we're going to give this another mix by hand. Mix everything well, make sure it's all well incorporated into the meat. And there you have it. There is our meat that is going to be our stuffed burgers. Still a little bit wet if you ask me. I think I'm going to add an extra pound of ground beef to this. So here's our meat, and we're going to add the extra pound. So this is 2 pounds of ground beef, 8515. Now we're going to mix this in, and I'm not going to add any extra ingredients to this. I'm just going to add the meat to it. Okay, so here's our finished burger meat. We are going to cover this up, and we're going to put it in the fridge overnight, and we're going to make this into burgers tomorrow, and we're going to stuff them with our stuffed burger press. Should be pretty good. Keep in mind that I kind of fly by the seat of my pants when it comes to making burgers, so I don't have this recipe written down. I'm just kind of winging it here. But they do turn out pretty good, so I do recommend trying these. All right, let's get this wrapped up. Let's get it in the fridge. And then we'll move on to making our stuffed ham and Swiss mushroom burgers on the smoker. Okay, I have my burger press, I have my scale, and I've already taken my meat and divided it into 4 half-pound meatballs that we are going to use our stuffed burger press. So we're going to take one meatball, we're going to divide it in half, and we're going to add half of that to our burger press. Going to push it into the bottom of the press like so. Now we want to separate our top half and use this to make our cavity in our burger. So press that in, and that'll make our little cavity or pocket in our burger meat. And then that pocket we're going to fill with our filling, our ingredients, our ham, our Swiss, our mushrooms. And you might want to use a little bit of olive oil because, as you can see, the meat is sticking to this. So I'm going to do this again. We're going to put this back in, but you see how it started to make a little pocket. We're going to push that back into our press. and we're going to reform it. But I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on this press. Just a little bit. And that'll keep our meat from sticking to it. And it should come apart pretty easily, other than the suction of the meat wanting to stick to it. So let's press this again. And as you can see, we have a nice little pocket there that we can add our ham, Swiss, and mushrooms to. Alright, so we're ready to start. Let's take a slice of honey ham. We are going to tear this into pieces and just put it into our pocket. Just about one layer should be fine. I know the pieces double up a little bit in some spots, but that's okay. I don't want to put too much in because we won't be able to get our lid on and the burger will be way too thick since we're already starting with a half pound of meat. Alright, so that should be about enough ham. Now we're going to add in our mushrooms. I like using the canned marinated mushrooms because they're already soft. It saves you the time of trying to saute fresh mushrooms off and get them soft. I also like to use these mushrooms on pizza too. So we're going to get some mushrooms out of the can and we're going to add them in on top of our ham. Now I want to mention here that it might be a good idea to kind of drain your mushrooms or dry them before you put them in. I didn't think of it until I went to put the lid onto this burger and the juices started to push out. So when I stuffed the second one, I kind of squeezed them out a little bit before I put them in. And I do manage to use this entire can of mushrooms for these 4 burgers. Now it's time to add in our Swiss cheese. And we're just going to tear that into smaller pieces, put it in on top of our mushrooms. Now it might have been better to put the Swiss cheese on the bottom. That way it's not so close to the seam of our pocket and our lid. So that's okay. They still turned out pretty good. Okay, now we want to take what's left of our meat and we want to form it into a patty. And we're going to make the lid or the top to our stuffed burger. So form that into a patty. We're going to put it on top of our stuffed burger. And then we're going to use our burger press and we are going to press the lid onto the pocket. And there we go. Our stuffed burger is made, and it's time to get it out of our burger press. A little bit of olive oil goes a long way to keep this from sticking. When I do the second one, I use a little bit more olive oil on the different pieces, but it does come apart. And despite it sticking a little bit, we still ended up with a pretty nice stuffed burger here. So we want to make sure that our lid is well sealed to our bottom. And this is a half-pound stuffed ham, Swiss, and mushroom burger. So that's the first one. Now we're going to run through making the second one. Now on the second one I use a little bit more olive oil, so it turns out a little bit better. It goes a little bit faster. So let's move on to making the second one. Okay, now the second one I've split it into 2 equal halves, about a 1/4 pound each. We're going to do the same thing that we did with the first one. Alright, we're going to press our patty in to make our pocket. We are going to add in our ham. Going to add in our mushrooms, and like I said, I wring them out a little bit to get some juice out of them. And we're going to put in our Swiss cheese. We're making a patty out of what's left, and we're going to press it on to our pocket, or our bottom of our stuffed burger. Now we're getting it out of the burger press, and we had a little bit of meat hanging over. We're just going to kind of pat that in and make sure that we get a good seal between the top and the bottom of our stuffed burger. But that's pretty much it. Not hard to do. A little bit of olive oil works to help to separate the burger press pieces. You could probably also use parchment paper. But there's our second stuffed burger. And the process is going to be the same for the last two, which I'm not going to video the last two. I think you get the idea after watching the first two. So after all 4 burgers are made, I'm going to put them on a plate, and I'm going to put them in the fridge probably for about 30 minutes to help to firm up the meat before we put it onto the smoker. So here we are on the smoker. We got a good flame going. We got all 4 of our burgers on our grate. And I have my drip pan underneath, but I didn't put a whole lot of water into it. But I just wanted to catch the drippings from these burgers rather than have it go down into my charcoal and into my grill and possibly cause a flare-up. So we'll check back on these in about a half hour. They're going at about 200 degrees, give or take, and they should be pretty good. Alright, we're about a half hour into this cook. They're not quite finished yet. They have some time to go. I'm not even going to temp them yet because I'm planning on 45 minutes to an hour of them being on the smoker. But what I am going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of Meat Church's Gospel Rub to the top. It'll help with flavor and it'll help with some color. And these should be pretty good. We'll check back here in about 15 minutes to a half hour. The one thing I am happy about doing these on the smoker is that they haven't broken yet. The cheese hasn't come oozing out of the side yet, and they seem to be staying together pretty well, and I think they're going to be pretty good. Our filling is staying inside of these burgers. So while the burgers are on the smoker finishing up, what we want to do is we want to make a burger sauce for these. We have our ingredients. We have pickled jalapeno peppers, we have Duke's mayonnaise, we have French's yellow mustard, and we have some Heinz tomato ketchup. Just these 4 ingredients. I'm keeping it simple. You can add whatever you like to your burger sauce, but we're going to get some pickled jalapenos out of the jar, and we are going to pat them dry on this paper towel. So a liberal amount. We don't need a whole lot. We don't need the entire jar, but we need a good amount of them. Alright, so we're spreading our jalapenos out on a paper towel. When you think you have enough, use some more. I love jalapenos. These would probably be good to use on a pizza too. But you want to chop these up. Chop these into some small pieces. You don't need to make them really fine. I don't like them really fine, but you can make them as fine as you like. You can use as much as you like too. These aren't really hot, but they do have a lot of flavor, and they will make our sauce kind of pop. So I'm just chopping these up, getting some somewhat fine chunks, but I'm trying to keep them a little bit on the larger side, so we get some bite with our sauce and our jalapenos. Okay, now it's time to start putting our sauce together. So we're going to start out with a liberal amount of Duke's mayonnaise. I'm not really going to measure as far as this goes. I'm just going to kind of go by taste. We'll see how it tastes as we go. So we have our Duke's mayonnaise here. We're going to add in a liberal amount. Now we only have 4 burgers, so we don't want to make too much sauce. We're going to move on to our ketchup. Put a little bit of ketchup in there. And now we're going to add some French's yellow mustard. Now I like mustard as much as anybody else, but I think I put a little bit too much in. But that's okay. We can always add some more ketchup and some more Dukes. So let's get this all mixed up. And we'll give it a little bit of a taste test before we add in our jalapenos. Alright, we're mixed, and let's give it a little bit of a taste. It kind of has a little bit too much of a mustardy flavor. I kind of thought I put a little bit too much in. So we're going to add a little bit more ketchup. And we're going to add a little bit more Duke's. And we're going to mix this up again. Now with this sauce, I'm kind of going for like a Russian dressing or a McDonald's mac sauce kind of flavor. And I think we're pretty good. We should add in our jalapenos and give it a taste test after that. After the jalapenos have been added, we're going to give this another good mix. We're going to add in some black pepper. And then we're going to mix that in. And there you have it. Our burger sauce is finished. Simple and easy. And it only took 4 ingredients. Well, 5 if you count the black pepper. But I love black pepper, so I kind of put it in everything. And now it's time to give it a final taste test. See how we did. Cheers. Oh, yep. That's pretty much what I was going for. It tastes a lot like McDonald's mac sauce. A little bit like Thousand Island dressing. That's pretty much exactly what I wanted. The jalapenos give it a nice little kick, rather than using relish or chopped pickles or anything like that. Okay, we're back to our smoker. We have a little bit of cheese oozing out of 2 of the burgers, but it's time to temp them. We're about an hour on the smoker. Yep, and we are definitely done. I was actually shooting for something more along the lines of 135, 140, but we're up around 150. So we're good to go. It's pretty much time to pull these off. Now I'm going to sear these briefly on each side, and I'm going to use my propane gas grill. Yeah, I know, nobody on YouTube uses a propane gas grill. But this is what we're going to use to sear off the burgers and try and toast our buns. Now I'm only going to toast 2 buns, because I don't think I can eat 4 burgers, but I think I could probably eat 2, and we'll see how they turned out. Now I'm only going to sear these for about 30 seconds to 1 minute on each side. So the buns aren't going to be on all that long either. But as you can see, we're losing a little bit of cheese out of 2 of them, but that's not a big deal. It tends to happen with stuffed burgers. Now I'm going to give these burgers a flip. And we're going to try and sear the other side, and then we're pretty much done. We'll see how our buns are doing too. Our buns really aren't toasted as well as I would like them. This one here that's a little bit closer to the flames is a little more toasted. So let's move them both a little closer to the flames. Right there I had them on a burner that wasn't turned on. I only had the center burner and the left burner turned on to do this. Okay, now we're going to add some Swiss cheese to our burgers. 1 slice of Swiss to each burger should be good. And it actually uses up the pack of Swiss cheese. And then we will time lapse the melt, and we will get these off and plate them up. Okay, so the time lapse melt didn't go as well as I thought it would, but these things are ready. I can't leave them on too much longer or they're going to get dry. So let's get them off, let's get them onto a plate. And we're going to pull our buns also. And let's go inside and build our burgers. Alright, so it is time to build our burger. We have our Martin's potato roll that we are going to put a liberal amount of burger sauce on because this burger sauce is good. Now, looking back, I don't know that I would have used Martin's potato rolls just because of the size of these burgers, how big they turned out, and how small Martin's potato rolls are. Maybe I should have used a Kaiser roll, but it'll still be good. So we're going to put some burger sauce on the bottom and the top. And like I said, I'm probably using too much, but this is going to make one messy, juicy burger. This will be good. Next, I'm going to add a slice of marinated tomato. And we're going to take one of our burgers. Oh, cheese is sticking together. After I brought them in, the cheese continued to melt. So we're going to take one of our stuffed burgers. We're going to put it on top of the tomato. Look how much bigger that burger is than the bun. Yeah, I probably should have got bigger buns, but that's okay. It'll still be good. I really like Martin's potato rolls, though. Too bad they don't come in larger sizes. Now we're going to add on some spicy pickles to the top of our burger. And that's how I like my burger. You can add whatever you like to your burger. You can add lettuce, tomato, pickles. We're going to put our top on. Kind of smash it together a little bit. And let me grab a knife and we will cut this thing in half and see what it looks like. Alright, here we go. It's time for the ham Swiss mushroom stuffed burger money shot. Get this thing cut. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, now that's a stuffed burger right there. The meat's a little dark looking, probably because of the Better Than bouillon and the Worcestershire that we put in, but trust me, it's gonna be good. And it stayed together through the cook. So let me know in the comments what you think. As always, if you like my channel or you like any of the content, like and subscribe. Leave your comments. I try to answer all the comments that you leave, but there's nothing more to really do here than to go in and give it a shot, see how it tastes. Cheers.
This is a tasty burger.
Yep, that is a tasty burger. Just how I expected it to turn out. Although it is a bit of a mess. You see the bun's kind of falling apart, but oh well. It is what it is. Just eat it. It's good. Anyway, if you like my content and you like this recipe, like and subscribe. Leave me some comments. I do try to answer them all. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.